So this is in reply to a comment about how to prevent burnout. So I'm going to try not to make it long. I probably can't guarantee that. But this is for you, Norby. When I first started working in this field, I started in this field for my own journey. I had dealt with a lot of abuse. I had PTSD, and at that time I couldn't afford a therapist, so I read everything that I could get my hands on. I watched VHS tapes, I read books, I even went to any kind of free classes and learned all about PTSD, anxiety, and trauma. And then, in addition to that, I learned application. I began to apply CBT to my own thinking, and I began to challenge a lot of my own truths and my own belief systems. A lot of times when people get into this field, they get into this field because they've had some kind of recovery, but they haven't had a full recovery yet. So they walk into this field sometimes with the head knowledge, but not the heart knowledge. And that's where I think we run into a lot of problems, because when we walk into the field and we still need help ourselves and we need recovery ourselves, then it becomes a situation where we're not going to get the results we want at work, and therefore it's going to affect our self-esteem and what we believe about ourselves. Versus if you go into this field not just with the head knowledge, but with the application. I learned CBT and all the other theories that you did too. Motivational interviewing, Gestalt, all these other kinds of theorists, and I love many of them. But when I learned the theories, all of a sudden my application that I did on myself made sense. And it became this habit in my life where I learned how to take care of myself. And here's the benefit of that. If you're going to go someplace, say you're going to go to another country, and somebody from America says, hey, I have this great book on Rome, and I'm going to tell you how to I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to tell you how to navigate Rome. That's probably going to only get you so far. Versus get somebody that's lived in Rome. They know where the good places are to eat. They know where the bad, seedy places are. They know where the rats hang out. They know where your car can be stolen. They know the shortest routes because this construction's going on and that construction's going on. They know the inside and out of the city you're going to. Those are the people that are going to be the best tour guides. And as a therapist, you are a tour guide. You go in and you say, hey, you can go this direction. If you do, here's some of the things you'll see, and here's some of the choices you'll have. You can go this direction, and here's the other choices. Or you can stay right where you are, and here's your choices, and here's what you will experience. You're only going to get that from firsthand experience. And you could be in a really great position. I was in a good position because I did application and then I did school. So I knew how to apply the things that I was reading in the book. The second thing is that once you start going through your own healing journey, you also begin this recovery habit. And I love recovery habits. Recovery habits are things you do to take care of yourself and get positive, healthy results from your. And recovery habits can be easy to turn into unhealthy habits. That's why you always have to have that relationship with yourself saying, am I doing this because I'm trying to hide? Am I doing this because I'm trying to just get a good quick boost? Or am I doing this because I know overall that I'm building a healthy me? And I like the word building. Like, for example, if you are learning a new language, and that's one of the things you're doing for your own wellness. You know, the long-term benefits, you're going to have a healthy brain, you're going to be able to speak a new language, and you're learning, which kind of enhances that whole SAMHSA will that I'm sure you're familiar with, the intellectual piece. And then in addition, like for me, I like to canvas paint. I canvas paint, and it puts me in this meditative state. I'm not real good with meditation, but I am good at doing that. It puts me in this very peaceful state, and for a whole while, Nothing else matters to me except that canvas. So it gives my brain and my my central nervous system and my sympathetic nervous system, it gives it a good break. And it helps me to unwind. I also like to do DIY. I also go to the bank. I mean, go to the beach. I also like to read. But there's just many things that I do, and I know what to do and how to apply first aid to myself. I know, like, if something triggers me, I can stop and say, what's that feeling asking of me? What does that feeling want? And then I can get it. Like, for example, I like to keep my house clean. And when my house is a mess, I feel chaotic. And it kind of it jacks me up as far as the sympathetic nervous system goes. I I become my worst version of myself if something isn't done about it. And as soon as I walk in the door, I feel the anxiety. So I pause and say, what do you need right now? What I need right now is I need everything to be picked up and clean. And that makes me feel better. Just doing that. And it can be anything from one to many messes. If I come in the house and there's a lot of messes, then of course I have to call on help and say, this is a mess. We need to clean it up because it needs to be clean. But the other thing too is setting boundaries with myself, knowing when somebody's invading my space and knowing when I need to set boundaries for other people, knowing when to say no and being okay feeling bad about it. And I know that sounds kind of funny, like you shouldn't feel bad about it if you're taking care of yourself. If you're very empathetic, you likely will. I feel bad if I don't help somebody and somebody says, hey, if I go to the store, you got a few bucks, and I tell them no. I feel guilty, and I have to be okay with feeling guilty. I have to be okay with saying no and being able to look at the much bigger picture. So it's finding the things that help you stay stable. Taking a long hot bubble bath. I like to soak in the hot tub, although ours is broken right now. In the summer, I swim. I do many things. The thing I really don't do is a lot of TV because it's not healthy for the brain. But I do a lot of things that keep my cup of wellness full and overflowing. And the last thing is that you don't learn when you first go into this field is you have to know your population. I worked with all different populations. I learned when I worked with kids, the kids have a lot of things going on, and I can't tolerate knowing John Doe is going home with his abuser dad and the state is not going to do anything about it because there's not enough evidence. I don't like that. I don't like it when this kid can't have shoes or can't have a book like the other kids and I want to buy it. I go home and I take that trauma with me and I'm not able to let it go. I don't like working with the elderly too much because when they die, I get very heartbroken and it's very hard for me. Sometimes working with couples gets a little iffy for me because especially if you've got domestic violence going on and it's masked real well, then you get yourself into a situation where you have things going on that you didn't have any idea about. The population that I do the best with is substance abuse. And at the end of the day, that's what I go back to, and I have my whole career. Because when I work with substance abuse, I understand being stuck into something and you can't get out because I can relate from my childhood. And I know how to navigate my way around pain, around trauma, and onto wellness. I know what that road looks like. I know the detours. So that's 3 things for you. 1, application, learning to apply the theories to yourself. 2, knowing your population. And 3, just developing daily wellness habits. Look on your SAMHSA wheel. Which one of those things can you improve on yourself